Mr. Hanson was onto something by looking into the history of this. This is not a brand new effort to bring wards to New Brunswick. This is the legacy of a movement for change that's been going on for decades in the city. And I think we need to pay respect to that. So first of all, as Mr. Hanson said, no one who is not on the city council is advocating for a charter study commission. The residents of the city have made it very, very clear that they want not wards, but the chance to vote on wards, not the chance to elect 5 people at large to make a decision for the entire city, but rather to actually have a chance to vote on a change, a concrete change in their government, and this is what they feel is the best system, the residents. Mm-hmm. This is the system that was proposed in 1986, and I can tell you what happened in 1986 is the city council attempted to derail that petition that was being put forth with a charter study commission. They were unsuccessful. The issue went to ballot. Unfortunately, it was rushed to the ballot because they had to beat the city council, and as a result, the election was held in August. It was unsuccessful, fell about 1,000 votes short. In 1996, the same thing happened, and those people did get charter studied. The city council, all of a sudden, out of the blue, decided that a charter study commission would be the best way to examine our form of government, and 5 people were elected to do that, and those 5 people recommended no change. The other 50,000 people in the city had no voice in that. They could have come to a public meeting, yes, but for anyone who's been to a city council meeting, you know how far going to a public meeting will get you. The second point I want to make is that this is more of the same. We've seen it before, and this time we are not giving up. We actually will continue to fight for wards, and we will continue until we have wards in the city, or at the very least the people have a chance to vote for them. That's all we're about. We're about democracy, and we're about actually bringing closing that gap between those who govern and those who are governed. And it's really critical that we do that in the city, because concerns that have been echoed by everybody here is that the council people are out of touch with the neighborhoods. And I think we can do a lot to change that with a ward-based system. That's why we selected 6 wards for the petition, because the more wards you have, the smaller the wards are. And we proved on June 2nd that small district-based elections actually have the ability to empower neighborhoods that would otherwise be disenfranchised. So that is why we've chosen to go ahead with this. Secondly, I just want to say that we have no authority to authorize any type of compromise in this. There were 1,500 people who signed our petitions, 1,500 separate people, and thousands more supporters who deserve the chance to vote on this question, and not just deserve the chance, but legally are entitled to it. And this court case that's going to happen on Friday, I think will be the beginning of the change that we've all been waiting for here in the city, because it will actually, for once, give people the chance to vote to empower their own selves, empower their own neighborhoods. And I think that's something that's been missing in the city for a long time. We really could do so much more to close that gap, and this is merely the first step. Mr. Mayor, with all due respect, anything short of a ward-based government misses the entire point of our movement and why so many people in so many different neighborhoods have come together around this one issue, because we are out there every day in the neighborhoods, and there is overwhelming support in every single neighborhood for ward-based elections. We will not settle for anything less, and to that end, we have actually brought forth litigation that will defend these people's right to get a chance to vote in November, and I would appreciate you respecting the decision of the judge on Friday and going ahead with the election.
Charlie, I will do nothing but respect the judge's opinion, as I've done throughout the court process. I mean, if you notice the questions that I asked with regard to the ward-based system, I didn't answer. And I didn't want to answer them because they weren't for me to answer. They were for all of us to discuss. Do they do the types of things that we wanted to do? I have an open mind with wards. I'm just not convinced that the 6-ward system is the best way to go. You know, you've talked repeatedly about, and so has everybody else, about wards are the way to go. They're more responsive, more representative. They provide a smaller dynamic for us to worry about. This person, the elected official, will have a smaller area. That's one of the answers to the question, why 6? You know, why do I want to forego my ability to vote for a majority of the council? And the trade-off might be because I have somebody who's going to be in charge of 8,500 people instead of being in charge of 10,000 people. When I say in charge, you know, responsible for. So, you know, that's the trade-off, and that may be the way people think about it. But again, you can be for wards, but not necessarily for the 6-ward system. Now, I understand that's what the petition said, and I can't and wouldn't talk the committee of petitioners out of doing what they think is their responsibility to the petition signers. And, you know, this process, if the decision of the committee of petitioners, who are the plaintiffs in the litigation, they choose to proceed, then we proceed. But I'm just looking to have a discussion with people about it. I really felt that as we were getting close to this, and by the way, I don't think it's likely, and I don't know the answer to this, but I don't think it's likely the judge will make a decision on Friday. It's the return date of a motion for summary judgment. Oftentimes what happens, more often than not, the parties argue, the judge reserves decision and thinks about it. Now, the judge may have already pretty much evaluated the case. We'll look to see if his or her opinion is dissuaded by, you know, the arguments that were made by the respective counsel. But in the absence of somebody persuading or otherwise, proceed forward and make her decision that day. So it's not impossible. But I truly thought that I would be remiss in my responsibility as the Chief Executive Officer of the City of New Brunswick if I didn't call together a group of people who are passionate about the city, who are passionate about how we govern ourselves, and have perhaps varied opinions as to how we go about that, to see if we give it one last chance, or perhaps a chance, because there's not one person, you know, from the committee of petitioners or the people who signed a petition who ever came to me and talked to me about this, nor I to them. So shame on us for not having this dialogue sooner, but it's a two-way street, and I'm looking to get the two-way street open at both ends of the street. People are free to accept it. People are free to reject it, but I do think it's at least worth the discussion. We've been at this for an hour and a half, so I see 3 hands. If anybody else is going, you were part of the 3, George. I can count. I can count. Marge and Adam, Cedric. Look, I'd like to, because people, not unlike, you know, may have some places to go. So let's, and we're starting to get a little bit repetitive, myself included. So, Marge, if you have something new to add, if you're just going to repeat something else,